Weinstein photo after appearing in R. Kelly documentary. And this is by Alicia Dodova. And this was Tuesday, more than 2.5 years ago. Okay, so we have R. Kelly on the left and you have John Legend on the right. Okay, so John Legend appeared in Surviving R. Kelly, and he claimed to be speaking up for victims. Now, from what I gathered during my investigation, he doesn't know either victims or R. Kelly. And I find it very ironic that as a man, to speak on another man he doesn't know, for women he doesn't know, is really cruel. But 2.5 years ago, he was labeled a hero for it. Because 2.5 years ago was the peak of the Me Too types of era. And since then, since last year, it kind of plumbed real bad since the Black Lives resurrected with the George Floyd situation. You know, I find it courageous for people to speak up when they need to speak up. In other words, if they are a crime in your neighborhood, a senseless crime, an old lady got knocked down and she died because somebody tried to steal her purse, and you speak up because you see it, and you point to the police that that guy did it, that's courageous. Because you actually physically saw that the act took place into this woman's demise. And I'm using that as an example. But when you sit up there saying these rumors was going on for years and you speak up rumors as if it's facts, it's a problem because of what you believe. You can believe and speak up for who you want to speak up to. But to get on a docuseries, which is supposed to be something that is factual, something that is telling someone's story, you can't even speak up for these women because you don't even know them. And I find it problematic. While everybody was praising John Legend, I found that to be problematic considering the fact that we have dealing with systemic racism and we have no cultural obligation in our own culture. And I'm talking about cultural obligation as far as American blacks, as far as neighborhood blacks, as far as people who are over here in the USA. Foreigners have cultural obligation, white people have cultural obligation, Asians, Arabic, all other nationalities have cultural obligation except for American blacks. We do not have any cultural obligation. We will sell each other out for a dollar bill or to get ahead. We will turn our backs on and bear false witnesses as he did, just so we can get some accolades and some praise because they're speaking for victims. How you gonna speak for victims when you don't know the victims or the accused? And we think about this because if this is the case, that you don't have to be have proof of anything, and that you could just bear false witness to somebody, and then you could just potentially be detained and go to jail for the rest of your life for it. That is an issue. That is an issue. And who more going to suffer from that than people who are already dealing with systemic racism in this country? So, John has publicly denounced R. Kelly, okay? Now, who is he to denounce someone? You know what I mean? Who is he to denounce someone? So it says, John Legend has forced to defend a photo of himself posing with the disgraced Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein after he appeared in an R. Kelly documentary exploring sex abuse allegations against the R&B singer. All of Me singer was one of the few celebrities to appear in Surviving R. Kelly, with many stars like Jay-Z, Mary J. Blige, and Lady Gaga reportedly turned it down. John was applauded for speaking out against R. Kelly in the Lifetime docuseries, which recounts the multiple sexual abuse claims the musician has faced over the past 20 years. Okay? First of all, we need to rephrase that, but we're going to move on to this last little sentence. Some fans were surprised to see a resurfaced photo of John 40 and his wife Christy Teigen happily posing with a photo with Harvey at a Sundance festival in 2016. Now, here's the thing. We're going to talk about this and we're going to break this down. And this breakdown is not about John Legend. It's about Dream Hampton. But it's about how she recruited these people to be in the Surviving R. Kelly docuseries. And we're going to go about this recruitment. And we're going to sit up there, and this is why she's on the karma train. A 66-year-old movie producer has been accused of sexual misconduct after several women came forward in 2017, maybe a year later. Harvey is currently awaiting trial in New York on a number of related charges. Remember, they say women came forward in October of 2017. So he said, I took a photo with and worked with Harvey on several occasions before the abuse was known to me and the rest of the world. Since he's been exposed, his company and career have rightfully been destroyed and he's been indicted. Sounds like something should have happened to R. Kelly. Wow. Interesting. Ed John Legend, explain please. I don't remember you publicly denouncing this man as Charlemagne the God. Oh, someone else noticed that. So it's not just me in this R. Kelly sector or me taking up for men's rights, but people notice it too. So when they want to make you guys think that we are only ones over here that's noticing things, we are exposing what's going on, okay? And here on SPITTINFIRE, I'm not an R. Kelly fan, you guys. I'm too old for that. I'm close to 50 years old. I'm not too much younger than R. Kelly himself. And I raised up in the same era and time as he was, and I am not an R. Kelly fan. I am at the age where I'm too old for R. Kelly. Now, one group that I do love is New Edition. I will say I'm a fanatic of theirs, okay? But not R. Kelly. But I do like R. Kelly music. The reason why I decided to sit up there and do the Karma Train, it was inspired by a sub, and I decided to put that segment together because I was doing the breakdown and the connections, right? So when I started doing the Karma Train, I just realized that needs to be exposed to you guys. And you guys need to share it on different sites, especially those people who are against it. Because the simple fact is we need people outside this sector to hear the truth. These are not things that I made up. This is not just opinions that I have. This is dates stamped of what is said and rebuts of these people and come out their mouths themselves. Not me of SPITTINFIRE. Okay, so this is John Legend and his wife Chrissy Teigen. Okay, this looked like she was expecting in this picture, and Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein. Okay. The Twitter user who shared the throwback image said, at John Legend, please explain. I don't remember you publicly denouncing this man. Okay. In response, John took a photo with the work with John Rancher on several occasions before his abuse was known to me and the rest of the world. Since he's been exposed, his company and career has rightfully been destroyed and has been indicted. Sounds like something that happened to R. Kelly, just like he said. This is a picture, okay? And then he said a separate tweet, he added, no one asked me to be in a Harvey doc. I'm friends with the Surviving R. Kelly director. And several protesters in the Mute R. Kelly movement. So I had a personal connection and agreed to appear. I don't just go around interviewing to every expose. That is dumb. After the first episodes of Surviving R. Kelly aired last week, John explained his decision to take part in the series and said he wanted to help lift up the alleged victims. The musician tweeted to everyone telling me how courageous I am for appearing in the doc. It didn't feel risky at all. I believe these women. He believed them. Believe. This is the key word here, because believe. Believe is not a fact. Believe is not truthful. It's an opinion. It's a personal feeling. We should all thank my friend Dream Hampton for her very necessary work to create Surviving R. Kelly. Those survivors deserve to be lifted up and heard. I hope it gives them closure and some justice. Okay. So this is what he had did, right? And this is the picture of him and Harvey Weinstein. And this is the Weinstein Company. Now, let's go on to talk about something else. And I'm not going to even I'm not going to even sit up there and let you guys not see me researching this, right? So I'm connecting all these things that the article has said and these people have said themselves. So I hope you guys understand where I'm going with this. I'm not going by taking stories from these articles. What I'm doing is taking people who retweeted themselves, like John Legend goes for his words, and that tweet that he said that I just read to you, right? And then Dream Hampton apologized for including Charlamagne the God and surviving R. Kelly, okay? So this is the things that these people have said. The people have said themselves, Dream Hampton. Now, as you just seen, he said his friend, Dream Hampton. And he had friends in the mute R. Kelly. So he's already had a personal stake in this, his friends, right? So we know that in 16 and 17, they were already plotting this. Remember I showed you that he endorsed Kim Fox, okay? He endorsed Kim Fox. You understand what I'm saying? So, but before I go back and show you that picture, let's go back here because I don't want to confuse you. So Dream Hampton, the producer of Surviving R. Kelly, has issued an apology after drawing backlash, including Charlamagne the God in the docuseries. Many viewers in the docuseries felt it was very poor taste to allow Charlamagne the God to give commentary on R. Kelly when he too has been accused of sexual assault and problematic behaviors. I don't believe, okay, Dream Hampton knew how problematic Charlamagne was. She just chose to ignore it or frame like it wasn't to know how to do a basic Google search. Okay, so that's what somebody else said. Like she doesn't know how to do a basic Google search. And then this right here is the young lady Jessica Reed that I have been explaining to you guys about when it came to Charlamagne the God on the first Karma Train, right? So it says, at Dream Hampton, literally triggering watching Charlamagne the God on Surviving R. Kelly at Lifetime. After what happened to Jessica Reed, I hope you investigate that, see how she felt hearing him say black women are the easiest to sexual assault, whereas the 15-year-olds support victims hurt. So, Dream Hampton, how can you have Charlamagne the God in a docuseries which focuses on abuse of women? Okay, so we already know abuse of women. He is also accused of raping an underage girl. I know you heard about Jessica Reed's story side, right? And then these are all people who have been contacting her saying, well, wait a minute, Charlamagne the God was on here, Teray was on here, all these other people were on here, okay? Even it was alleged that the father of one of these girls who's supposed to have been kidnapped from him was or had a sexual abuse contact, okay? So we don't know how true that is, okay? This is all alleged. But the fact that it's out there and it's on a arrest sheet, it needs to be explained, okay? First and foremost, it really needs to be explained. So let's get back to the comments. Okay, so I have another one article that I want to read, okay? And I just gave you how John Legend got some backlash for posing in the picture with Harvey Weinstein, okay? And how Dream Hampton asked him to be in the docuseries, which he was friends with Dream Hampton, and he said he was friends with some R. Kelly women, right? But she's the producer, okay? It was her job to fit the right people for this docuseries. She got a lot of accolades. They won awards for this docuseries, but this is what society is going on as far as giving awards. So we're going to break that down a little bit more, and I'm going to speak on that a little bit more, but I don't want to focus on that right now because I'm going to definitely tie all this in together, okay? So I'm going to read another article about Dave Chappelle and Dream Hampton as she rides on this karma train, okay? So let's take a look at this and let's read this, and then we're going to come back more with some commentary. Okay, so this is the wrap, okay? And this is Surviving R. Kelly director Dream Hampton says Dave Chappelle misquoted her when he accused her of misquoting him. Okay, so the rap is something that Dream Hampton is familiar with because she's been on working with these people for quite some time. As a matter of fact, with the rap, she was on Twitter not too long ago, and they were talking to her about some different things. I think it was about some Black Lives or injustice type of things that was going on. But we're going to stay focused on this, okay? So we're going to say, this is by the rapping by Margot Chappelle, okay? And we're going to say Surviving R. Kelly director Dream Hampton says Dave Chappelle misquoted her when he accused her of misquoting him, okay? I also never in my life said the words too hot for TV, Hampton tweeted Tuesday. So this article is to make her look in a good light, but we're going to sit up here and read it anyway because we see these two, right? Dream Hampton and Dave Chappelle. And this was when Dave Chappelle did his stand-up a couple years ago, Sticks and Stones, okay? And it aired on Netflix and everything, and it was one of his biggest stand-up that he hasn't done in a long time. And as a matter of fact, he was talking about the cancel culture in that, but I'm not going to even spend more time about Dave Chappelle, but you guys, if you haven't seen it, make sure you go see it, okay? So, let's read this, okay? And this is an ad that's on the internet, so there's going to be some advertisement, okay? They got to get paid to people. So it says, Surviving R. Kelly director Dream Hampton disputes the accuracy of a joke Dave Chappelle made in his latest Netflix stand-up special Sticks and Stones, in which he accused her of misquoting him while promoting her documentary about the singer, okay? In the special, Chappelle said Hampton asked him before a performance in Detroit if he would be in the Kelly documentary. He joked that he responded, "Nah, bitch, I'm cool," and then he just forgot about the shit, right? Okay, so that's what he was saying in his stand-up. He said he was surprised when the documentary was released 2 years later. Dream's promoting the shit, and she's keep bringing me up. She said, I asked Dave Chappelle to be in my documentary, and he said it was too hot for TV, bitch. I did not say that. That does not even sound like how I talk. Then he panned him in a goofy version of himself saying the words too hot for TV. So, I told you this is the rap is a friend of Dream Hampton. They always going to make her look in a light because I've actually tried to research this articles when I read them before I read their stuff. Because this article is the article that supports the cancel culture, okay? The special premiered Monday. By nature, comedy special mixed truth with jokes and aren't meant to be taken seriously. But Hampton took to Twitter on Tuesday and hoped that her followers wouldn't take Chappelle's accountable literally. Quick fact check. I didn't personally or occasionally invite Chappelle to be in an interview for the doc. She says she didn't. The producer responsible for celeb outreach officially asked him more than once. I hadn't seen or talked to him in about 8 years. Weird he would told this joke that way, Hampton said in a tweet Tuesday. She added in a second tweet Tuesday, also obviously didn't need Chappelle to talk about R. Kelly personally. I wanted him to talk about the 2 pieces of cultural criticism he produced about R. Kelly in the Chappelle show, she said. Then she turned this too hot for TV joke around on him. See how they made it seem, then she turned it around on him. So this is crazy. I've also never in my life said the words too hot for TV because, bitch, that's not how I sound, she retweeted. Okay, so she retweeted what he said. The six-part Lifetime documentary about R. Kelly, which premiered January 3rd, presented several occasions of sexual abuse against sexual assault abuse against R. Kelly allegedly. Since then, prosecutors have charged R. Kelly with 40 counts, including Minnesota state charge and prosecution solicitation, according to associates. Okay, so these things really have to be proven. All right. So as I sat up here and I read the article about Dave Chappelle, okay, and about Charlamagne the God and things of that nature, I know you guys wondering, well, why are you reading articles about them as opposed to things about just Dream Hampton? Well, you have to think of it like this. She was the one who was producing this docuseries. She was the one that gathering around who she want in the docuseries, okay? So these are the people that were in the docuseries that had problematic past, okay, that were incredible, right? And we know that John Legend did not know R. Kelly. And we know that he did not know these alleged victims, but he did say he knew Dream Hampton and he knew some of the mute R. Kelly people, okay? So my thing is, for you as a man who don't know the alleged victims, okay, or R. Kelly, to be in a docuseries because your friends asked you to be in, that could potentially damage someone's credibility, someone's livelihood, take away their freedom as it did R. Kelly, okay, and destroy their careers as it did R. Kelly. You found it to be because of what you believe. And these were the words that he said, not spitting fire. He said because he believed the women. Well, one of the things about being a belief, as I mentioned before, it's not fact, okay? And it's not truth. It's a personal opinion that you have towards a subject or someone. And it doesn't mean to be. And for a man to be detained for 2 years because you helped put him there in this docuseries, because then the FBI came in and said, okay, they must want to investigate it. And because they lost the case before, they work hand in hand with the government, whether it's on the state level or the city level. And so they took over to say, okay, we can convict on this level by any means, no matter how dirty it is. And we know that the FBI has been crooked since the beginning of black people, okay? In other words, when it was in the 60s, the Black Panther Party, we seen how they threw drugs and things in our neighborhood and stuff like that. These were done by the FBI. The FBI, into which people on these YouTube streets even claiming to be helping. And they forgetting about this. And although many of them weren't born back then, you have to know your history when you sit up there and come about saying you're working with people or you're there for the feds and all this and that, considering the feds are the one who fed your culture drugs to get those people strung out on drugs. And the drugs in the neighborhood today is why you have fiends in your neighborhood now, because of what the FBI did when they tried to kill off the Black Panther Party. Now, here we are right here with the Dream Hampton and David Chappelle. As I read you the article, they were both sitting up there saying one or the other misquoted each other. Now, the fact that this was in 2016 and 17, a couple years or two before the docuseries, she was already working on this years before the docuseries aired in 2019. So I find it very ironic that people who sit up there and watch this docuseries, knowing that these has been in place for years, can take it to be credible, okay? Because of the simple fact that she didn't do her homework, people, okay? She had her friends in the docuseries, as John Legend said, and she had Mute R. Kelly in the docuseries, and she had all these other women liberation movements owners in the docuseries who does not know R. Kelly or these alleged victims. You understand what I'm saying? So it seems like to me these were a group of women plotted to find out things about R. Kelly to bring people in the forefront because they knew that the R. Kelly movement was going to spark. These people all knew each other. Mute R. Kelly, Me Too movement, and Time's Up. They may have been in different sectors, but trust me, if we seen that they knew each other, this is not alleged, people. These dates do not add up. It says that Harvey Weinstein and John Legend, okay, we're going to be going on to that in a minute. Harvey Weinstein and John Legend took a photo in 2016. This when Dream Hampton and Dave Chappelle was supposed to happen in Detroit in 2016 when he was here doing the show. So all these things happened I say within 2 to 4 years prior to the docuseries. They were putting this together for a while. They were having meetings. As I told you, I investigated them in board meetings where R. Kelly pictured all up and how they was going to take them down. You had Aroniki, okay, who said, or Anike rather, who said that they had to cut him off at the knees and cut off his resources, which is a clear violation of his First Amendment right to life and liberty, okay, and to make a living. He has a right to make a living, life and liberty. He has a right to that. But we had to cut him off so he would do it. You don't do people like that. Even criminals and harsh criminals doesn't get canceled. You don't just get everything taken away from you. Don't have no support. Don't do this. That is inhumane. You understand? To try to erase someone. But then we have John Legend and Chrissy Teigen taking a picture with Harvey Weinstein. So he said Harvey Weinstein, this picture was taken in 2016. This was before the public knew about his outrage or his misbehaving behavior. However, it seems to me he was happy with taking a picture with Harvey Weinstein. We know that when the docuseries of Harvey Weinstein or stories came out with Harvey Weinstein, they said that this was going on since the 80s, okay? About how he was allegedly mistreating and raping and sexually assaulting women, particularly actors who wanted to get careers, okay? Now, even in the Harvey Weinstein case, you guys, I don't believe a lot of those victims as well, because his attorneys has proven how they wrote letters to Harvey saying, miss you a lot, big guy, love you, big guy, and things of that nature. The credibility of these people. We have to stop wanting people to go to jail because it's entertaining. These are someone's life. Okay, and our system is not becoming about proof, but more about propaganda, because they signed that into law that you can use propaganda to bring about a charge on someone. We need that reversed ASAP. We need that reversed ASAP. That is a problem with our black culture with systemic racism. But getting along with that, she did not even investigate John Legend, Chrissy Teigen with Harvey Weinstein prior to putting her friend in the docuseries, okay? To know how that would look. But then again, she did not know how it would look for Charlamagne the God. Now, Charlamagne the God, I had read his arrest record on the other Karma Train. He was the first one that I did. As a matter of fact, I did 2 parts of it because his was so long. Now, there was a young lady by the name of Jessica Nicole Reed who claimed that Charlamagne the God raped her and drugged her. Now, according to the court documents and the arrest record, Charlamagne the God admitted to raping this young lady in some ways. Now, listen to what I'm saying. And I'm not really going to say allegedly here because it's in that paperwork where he pled guilty. And then on the show, he admitted to giving her Spanish fly, to having her way with her. And what makes it so bad about it, the guy who was the disc jockey of the podcast was jokingly laughing, telling him, you raped her. But he's a white guy. And see, because he knows the history of a black man being a rapist, because they allegedly teach them that in their culture, that all black men are rapists. This is why a lot of times the black men don't want a white man don't want a black man to date their daughter because they're thinking they're going to rape them and things like that. Because this is the first crime that they have passed in laws since the beginning of the centuries, that a Negro man, even when they were slaves, that we cannot pass these drugs to be legal, because if they get a hold to them, they will rape a white woman. It wasn't about black women because black women didn't have rights. It was about their white women because they labeled them as rapists up front in the beginning. And I've told you that in many videos that I have made when I was talking about the 350 rule and history and things of that nature, and to why we don't want to help them prosecute our own black men. But this black man right here admitted guilt to it, and this young lady who accused him did everything she was supposed to do. She didn't go to social media first, and there was social media then. It's not as privy as it was now, but she went to the police. She had a rape kit done. The police investigated. They found that there was some trauma in her vaginal area. She could have, but because out of fear, she didn't do it. Okay? So this was another reason that Dream Hampton did not do her homework. Because if you believe young black girls in the neighborhood, as you claim that you do with Tarana Burke, then you would have pulled this documentary when you realized that you had a rapist on your documentary claiming that he is for victims. Okay. Now, Angelo Clary is one of the fathers of the young lady turned victim. Okay. It was R. Kelly's girlfriend, then she turned victim when the money ran out. So, one of the things that he has talked about, okay, it was alleged. Okay, this is alleged because since then, Angelo Clary denies this on his arrest record. But this was alleged in these YouTube streets that he himself, during the arrest, had some sexual mishaps. Now, it was supposed to be an undercover police officer or something like that where he had an encounter and they was going to try to arrest him for doing some illegal activity or whatever. And then when she said he pat her down, he sexually assaulted her and things of that nature. He then denies this and said that that was supposed to have been removed from his criminal record or whatever. But all in saying, this still is a claim. You understand? Because if we're going to sit up there and say that we're going to believe women, then you got to believe every woman. And this is what I'm saying. So this man has denied that he sexually assaulted the person who was undercover to try to get him busted on another charge. You get what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying Angelo Clary is guilty or innocent, but I'm saying that if these were charges or somebody made a claim, well, these women made a claim or Jessica Reed made a claim. We can be selective with who we want to believe in this situation. So as R. Kelly did not get the benefit of the doubt, as these men got the benefit of the doubt, it's a problem. But they say these allegations been going on for 20 years. Now here's the thing. Allegations have not been going on for 20 years. They've been going on for a few years during his trial. But because R. Kelly was acquitted of those charges, they added those into it to make it seem like his acquittal was an obstruction of justice. And these are the tricks that the government, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, has been doing for many years. To sit up there and falsely say that his career was not real and it was only to get women or young girls, as Gerald Griggs lied about on Court TV. Now, another thing with Dream Hampton is, like I said, going back to John Legend, she put him in a docuseries. So for one, he had a picture with his wife and Harvey Weinstein. And we know that Oprah was friends with Harvey Weinstein because they had business deals together. And John Legend said he even worked with Harvey Weinstein, okay? But he said this was before everyone knew about his, sexual predator behavior allegedly. However, they said this was going on for years as R. Kelly, as Bill Cosby. So it wasn't as if women just came out in 2017. They said that those rumors with Harvey was going on a long time in Hollywood. And because he was a big mogul, it was hard to bring him down. They said this. And then he was really friends with Oprah Winfrey. But now, he was friends with Oprah Winfrey. But here's this. Dream Hampton, speak to Oprah Winfrey. They're cool. She supports the docuseries as a Gayle King, as we know John Legend was in it. But Oprah's father, Vernon Winfrey, was accused of sexual assault of a college student in 1995. I read that article with you. And Oprah paid the victim in that situation $50,000. And during that time in the mid-90s, that was a lot of money. Paid her $50,000. Now, here we are, John Legend. Not only did you have, a picture with Harvey Weinstein, but you also taken a picture with a woman whose father been accused of sexual mishap, and she believed her father. She didn't believe the women or believe women as she pertained when she did the Times of Speech in her 2018 award ceremony. I found that to be very interesting, that people forget that that even happened. Okay, so then we have Tarana Burke. Okay, so Tarana Burke was going all around on all these shows talking about they're helping little black girls in the neighborhood as well. Then she went on the Trevor Noah show talking about some R. Kelly's in the neighborhood, as if R. Kelly was not a legend, as if R. Kelly was like Michael Jackson and Prince status, and if not bigger. And he's just out here snatching young black girls as they go into school. This is not correct, people, and we know it in front of our eyes. But we became a society that we like to see people go through trauma or in drama because it's entertainment. But this is someone's life. And this one going to be your loved one. We cannot do that, because if that was the case, I would not want my son to be a musician or an athlete making a lot of money because someone may accuse him of rape, and then next thing you know, we have an issue, okay? We have a serious issue. Now, she was also in the docuseries helping little black girls in the neighborhood. Remember, she said there was a lot of R. Kellys in the neighborhood, but she failed to say that there was some Charlamagne the Gods in the neighborhood. Now, she said, and I'm quite sure she's going to claim she did not know about these charges with Charlamagne the God. I don't understand, because it's a simple Google search, right? So I don't understand how these women supposed to be helping little black girls in the neighborhood and are not doing background checks on the men or the women that are sitting up there in these documentaries with them. So she said on the documentary, speaking on R. Kelly, which she doesn't know as well. So let's get this understood. John Legend doesn't know the victims or R. Kelly. Tarana Burke doesn't know the victims of R. Kelly. And she doesn't know the people who she sat up there on a panel with or engaged in the docuseries with. And some of them have criminal behaviors and criminal backgrounds, even of sexual assault. And yet, she said she's helping little black girls in the neighborhood, but had Dream Hampton did her job, and had Tarana Burke made sure she did her job, because if you have an organization, you will want to make sure that if you're going to be on a panel, that everybody get a background check, because you can't be speaking on some things to not knowing what's going on or what's in somebody's background. But this is actual a little black girl in the neighborhood. This little black girl did what she was supposed to do. Okay, she told someone, she went to the hospital, okay, where the police came to the hospital and got the results of her rape kit. So she got a rape kit done. It came back that there was trauma to her vagina. And that the story that she said is the same story he gave when he admitted guilt and when he bragged about it on a talk show. And yet he gets to go around talking about Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, and be on the Breakfast Club. And it ain't until Kwame Brown recently calling out Charlamagne the God is when he's bringing notoriety to this. And he claims that he's going to try to find the young lady, right, that these charges was so he can interview her. Now, I don't want you guys to sit up there and jump on the Kwame Brown's bandwagon and host it because he's against Charlamagne the God that he's for R. Kelly. Because I've seen a lot of you guys say that on other people's platforms. You got to stop that. You got to stop wanting people to like R. Kelly. People do not have to like R. Kelly. We're not talking about people liking us here. We're talking about the fight against injustice. It doesn't matter if people like him or not, but he's supposed to be done right and have some justice, and his due process is supposed to be protected. Now, we know back in 2016 that John Legend sat up there again, took a picture with Harvey Weinstein. He claimed that he didn't know. I don't understand that, considering the fact that in 2016, if you friends with Dream Hampton and you're friends with the mute R. Kelly, and even in 2016 they were gathering up information about R. Kelly, you had to have known about the accusations against Harvey Weinstein as well. You just thought that he was too big to be touched and that you was working with him at the time. You understand? But at this particular time, you took a picture with even Oprah Winfrey, but her dad was accused of sexual assault, and she actually paid the victim $50,000, which you took a picture with her then. Okay, and then in addition to that, you knew Kim Fox prior to the docuseries because you're friends with Dream Hampton, you're friends with the mute R. Kelly, and you donated this money to her campaign months before or weeks before the docuseries aired, and you knew her months before. So, and Dream Hampton knew this. So the whole docuseries of Surviving R. Kelly was a fake and a fraud, people. And you people are not paying attention to it. You're not paying attention to these dates. These dates goes back to 2016 when they allegedly tried to build a case up against R. Kelly. At this particular time, he wasn't aware of it, but now we do. Because you're not going to tell me in 2016 when you took a picture with Weinstein, in 2017, that's when all hell broke loose. When they said these rumors were going on since the 80s. Even longer were they accusing Bill Cosby or R. Kelly. And yet, this one, she has been a nuisance in all this from the beginning. Because she herself, okay? She herself right here, this one right here, okay, this lady right here, Tarana Burke, she said that Joe Biden, okay, and I'm not trying to play the race game here, but we need some cultural obligation, okay, can be held accountable and electable. But when it came to black men, she's on the docuseries for them to sit up there and be prosecuted. And you people believed it. You believed everything that this docuseries said. But what I challenge everyone to do that is supporter of these women or these alleged victims, go back and read and listen and look at that docuseries again. Look at it again, and I'm telling you, you're going to see and notice all the types of editing. And you got to take your own emotion out of it because you're killing your own culture. So I hope that Dream Hampton, the next project she does a thorough background check, okay, because of karma. But wait a minute, before I close out, her too was accused of work harassment in the workplace right after the docuseries. And ironically, the social media tweets about her, Oprah's dad, has vanished off Google. Have vanished off Google. But all of the black men and the black people who are average person or not as prestige as them or not as powerful as them, their stuff's still there. That is a problem. That's a problem that we have in our society, and we definitely need to take a heed to it. Okay? We need to take heed to it because that has to stop. So, I hope you guys understood how I connected all these together. This person did not do her job as a producer well. She's on the karma train. She suffered some karma. All her group inside the R. Kelly survivor is not credible. And the FBI, I had to admit it, that you're going to be on the karma train too. This is Spitting Fire. Fire out.